Let us begin the lesson with the thought for the day. Treasure each day God gives you. They are the days that you can never get back. Remember, children, every day is a gift from God. So treasure the days and use it in the right way. God bless you all. Let us go into the lesson now. Today we are going to study about a very interesting topic, children, about the animal kingdom. Yes. So under this we are going to study what is classification, the method of arranging organism into groups on the basis of the similarities and differences. You call it as classification. I repeat, the method of arranging the organisms into groups on the basis of their similarities and differences. You call it as classification. See, you can see how these animals are classified into reptiles, insects, fish, and then birds and mammals. So based on the similarities and differences, all the organisms are classified. That method of arranging the organisms is called as classification. Next is taxonomy. Taxonomy is the science of classification, okay, which makes our studies on variety of organisms easier. So taxonomy is the science of classification. Okay, the first systematic approach to this classification of living organism was made by a Swedish botanist by the name Carolus Linnaeus. Okay. Now classification of living organism. Okay, they are is the ordering of organism into groups on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities and relationship. Classification again is the ordering or arranging the organism into groups based on their similarities, dissimilarities and relationships. There are 5 kingdoms. Classifications are of 5 divisions. Okay, the 5 kingdom classifications are, okay, Monero, Animalia, Fungi, Planta and Protista. So these are the 5 kingdom classification: Monera, Animalia, Fungi, Planta and Protista. Okay. Now first, under this we have species. What is species? It is the lowest taxonomic category, lowest classification. Okay, it is the lowest in the classification, lowest taxonomic category. For example, the large Indian parakeet and the green parrot are 2 different species of birds. They don't belong, they are not same, they don't belong to the same species. They are 2 different species of birds. We have seen large Indian parakeets and also the ordinary green parrots. They do not belong to the same species. They are of different species of birds. So that is how we classify them. Okay. Next is genus. Genus is nothing but the group of closely related species which constitute the next higher category called genus. It is a group of closely related species. Okay, species which are very related to each other, they come under the next higher category. First one we saw is the species. Second one we see is the genus. Okay, for example, Indian wolf and the Indian jackal. Okay, they are closely related species. Okay, they come under the genus. Okay, they are closely related, Indian wolf and Indian jackal. Next is the family. What about the family? A group of genera with similar common characters form a family. A group of genera. We previously saw what is genus. Okay, a group of genera with similar common characters. For example, leopard, tiger, cat, they all have some common characteristics and belong to the larger cat family. So this comes under this cat family comes cat species come under the family. Okay, a group of genera with several common characters, they form the family. We saw about the cat family, tiger, cats, then leopards, all they come under cat family. They have some similar characteristics. Next is the order. Okay, a number of related families having same common characters are placed in an order. Okay, for example, monkeys, baboons, apes and man. Although they belong to different families, are found to be under the same order, primates. They are found to be in the same order, primates. Okay, they belong to the primate group order. Okay, monkeys, baboons, apes and man. Though they belong to different family, they are placed in the same order because there are a number of related families having same character. There are certain characters that is similar between the monkeys, baboons, apes and the man. So they are placed in one order. Next is the class. Okay, related orders together form a class. Related orders together form a class. The order of different animals like those of rabbit, okay, rat, whale, chimpanzee and human beings have some common features and they are placed under the class. What is the class? Mammalia. What is common about all these animals? Okay, they give birth to young ones and they feed them. So they come under Mammalia, the class Mammalia. Though they belong to different family, okay, the order of different animals have something in common. Okay, that is why they are placed under the class Mammalia. Next is phylum. What is phylum? Classes which are related. Everything is going in an order, you see, starting from species. Then we saw about genus. Okay, so it comes in an order. Next we are seeing about the phylum. Classes which are related with one another constitute a phylum. Okay, the classes of different animals like mammals, then birds, reptiles, frogs and fishes constitute phylum Chordata. Okay, all these come under Chordata. Okay, they have backbones. They come under Chordata. Kingdom. When you talk about the kingdom, we saw all these under the kingdom. We have all these coming in an order. It is the highest category. Kingdom is the highest category and the largest division to which microorganism, plants and animals belong to. Okay, kingdom is the highest order or highest category. Okay, in classification, kingdom is the highest category. Okay, where we place the microorganism, plants and animals are placed under, okay, are categorized. Okay, the taxa of living organisms are in the hierarchy of categories. The lowest is the species. Lowest is the species. Next we have genus. Then above that we have family. Then we have order, class, phylum and kingdom. Kingdom is the highest, belongs to the highest category. Species belong to the lowest category. So we saw how these organisms are classified. First it is classified into species, then genus, then family, order, class, phylum and kingdom. Okay, what are the basis of classification? We can divide the animal kingdom based on the level of organisms, arrangement of the cells, level of organism, and then based on the body symmetry, germ layers and nature of column. We will be studying all this in detail now. So level of organisms, that is the arrangement of cells. Second, it is based on the symmetry, body symmetry. Third, germ layers, and the fourth one is the nature of column. We will study this one by one. Level of organization. Level of organization. Animals are grouped as unicellular or multicellular based on the cells. tissues, organ and organ system. Okay, based on the number of cells. Unicellular means single cell. Multicellular means it has more number of cells. So animals are grouped based on their cells. Okay, unicellular or multicellular based on the cells, tissues and organ system. Okay. So it starts, if you just see the human being, it starts as a cell, then it develops into tissues, and then from the tissues you get the organs are developed, and organs you have all the organ system, that is it, all the organs in the skeleton or inside the body, and then finally man is the organism. Symmetry. What is symmetry? It is the plane of arrangement of body parts. Okay, radical symmetry and bilateral symmetry. How when you cut a hydra, it can be cut into, see, into different layers, okay. Hydra, jellyfish and starfish can be cut into different layers, that is radical symmetry. It will be same, similar, anywhere you cut it would be similar. If you cut it into so many pieces like this, okay, if you cut them it will all be similar. So you call this as radical symmetry. What is bilateral symmetry? Cutting the body into two halves, okay, you call that as bilateral symmetry. This side is dorsal, this is ventral, this is posterior, anterior is right in the front, posterior is at the back, dorsal on one side and ventricle on the other side. So you divide the body into two equal parts, You call this as symmetry. It's a plane of arrangement of body parts. Okay. What are germ layers? Germ layers are formed during the development of the embryo, the egg. During the development of the egg, we have these germ layers formed. Organisms with two germ layers, okay, ectoderm and endoderm, are called diploblastic animals. For example, hydra. So when the embryo is formed, if there are only two germ layers, two layers are formed, ectoderm and endoderm, only these two layers are formed in the embryo, then you call such animals as dipoplastic animals. Organisms with three germ layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm, all these, when the embryo is formed, when these three layers are also formed in the embryo during the development of embryo, then you call it as tripoplastic animals. Example, rabbit and other animals come under tripoplastic. So when the embryo, during the development of the embryo, you have three layers, that is ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Next is coleum. Okay, coleum. It is the fluid-filled body cavity which is filled with fluid. It separates the digestive tract from the body wall. Based on the nature of the coleum, animals can be divided into three groups. What are they? Echolomates, then pseudocoelomates and coelomates. Okay, echolomates, pseudocoelomates and coelomates. Echolomates are nothing but they do not have body cavity at all. For example, tapeworm. Okay, it is fluid filled body cavity. It is found inside the body. It's a cavity, a bag like thing, okay, which separates the digestive tract from the body wall. Okay, and if animals do not have these body cavity, what do you call? Echolomates. Pseudocoelomates is nothing but false body cavity, roundworm. Pseudo means false. Pseudocoelomates. If a animal has false body cavity, you call it as pseudocoelomates. And next one is Colomates. Colomates or ecolomates have true columns. Okay, earthworm, frogs, they all have true columns. Body cavity, fluid filled body cavity. Next, animal kingdom is divided into two groups based on the presence or absence of the backbone. Invertebrata and vertebrata. Invertebrata or vertebrata. Okay, invertebrata is animals which do not have backbone. Chordata, they come under prochordata and vertebrata. That is, they have backbones. Okay, animals which do not possess notochord is called as invertebrates or non-chordates. Okay, they do not have the backbone. Animals which possess notochord or backbone are called as chordates. And next is what is meant by binomial nomenclature. Okay, again this botanist Carolus Linnaeus introduced the method of naming the animals with two names, which is known as binomial nomenclature. The word binomial nomenclature, okay, is nothing but two-word naming system. It's two-word naming system. First word represents the genus, second word represents the species. First word represents the genus, okay, a group of similar organisms that have different characteristics. Group of similar organisms that have different characteristics, genus. And then species, smallest, most precise classified category. Okay, the least of the organization, classification is the species, and above that we have the genus, isn't it not? So naming an animal with two words. Okay, one the genus, the first word is the genus and the second one is the species. Okay, now lion has nomenclature, that is binomial nomenclature for lion is Panthera leo. Panthera leo. Okay, the first word represents the genus, the second word represents the species. Okay, let us see the binomial names of some of the common animals. Amoeba. Okay, how do you call amoeba? What is the binomial name for amoeba? Amebia proteus. Then hydra vulgaris. Tapeworm, Tenenia soleneum. Roundworm, Ascaris lumbricoides. Then leech, Hirudinea granulacea. Okay, then starfish, Asteris rubens. Pearl oyster, Pincata fucata. Okay, all these are binomial names for some of the common animals or insects. Okay, organisms. Okay, thank you children for listening to this class. I hope this was an interesting session for you. Thank you so much.